All right, the last thing we are going to be talking about is how to draw these graphs given the information instead of what we've just been doing, which was looking at the graphs and giving the information. So our first example on drawing the graphs says draw a graph which satisfies the given requirements. So example 1, the x-intercepts are 1 and -3. So first of all, let's go and put those points on our x-axis, because we know the graph has to cross at +1 and -3. So let's go -1, -2, -3. And I'm going to put a dot there because I know the graph has to cross at those 2 points. It also tells me that my y-intercept is +2. So let's go to our y-axis and go up 2 and put a dot. All right, knowing that it has to cross those 3 points, I want you to visualize what's probably going to be happening with those 3 points. If the graph has to go through these 3 points, it's probably going to look like an N maybe, or an upside down U, but let's just verify by looking at the rest of our information that it gives us. It tells me that it's decreasing from -1 to infinity. And remember, -1 is on the x-axis, because remember we were dealing with DAX on the x-axis. So it's somewhere on -1 along the x-axis is where it changes direction. So I'm going to pretend that I'm drawing a nice little road, because that's where we're changing directions, whether we're increasing or decreasing. So somewhere along this -1 for our x-axis, this is -1 on our x-axis, right? Somewhere along this -1, I know I'm going to be decreasing. And if I'm decreasing, I'm going to be going downhill. But I know I also have to be going through these 2 points. So if I'm going to be going downhill and through these 2 points, my graph could be looking something like that. The last thing it says is that it's increasing starting at -infinity and going to -1. So if I'm increasing, that means I'm going uphill starting at -infinity and ending at that -1 where we just drew our dashed line. And if I know it has to go through this point, it's obviously going to connect to this graph, something along the lines of that. If yours ends up looking curved instead of like a pointed V, that's just fine as well, as long as it satisfies these requirements by going through all 3 of these points and actually increasing to the -1 on your x-axis and then decreasing from -1 on your x-axis. Okay, there's that one.